Chapter 57:11. Hua Qing was no better than him to go there, her breath was unstable. Haha, be happy. Jian Wushuang took a sigh of relief, his life force widened, and the power of the starry sky was raised again. It's just that the power of the starry sky has been consumed too much now, and it is not enough for him to supplement with the power of life. The treatment chamber in the cabin is magical, allowing his life force to accelerate the replenishment of the starry sky. Hua Qing was silent, and at the same time sighed Jian Wushuang's power from the bottom of her heart. That stalwart figure at the beginning is just as powerful now. He has already exerted all his strength, fighting Jian Wushuang to this day, still unable to tell the outcome. Moreover, his aura is a bit weak, but Jian Wushuang is still as powerful as that. But Hua Qing didn't know that Jian Wushuang was already at the limit. The power of the stars is limited. No way, this is just a clone of Jian Wushuang. If it is the deity, he can fight forever. But now the power of the starry sky on the body is almost exhausted. The strength of both sides is approaching its limit. If it drags on, it will drop. At this moment, they are all gathering the strongest aura, ready to use the strongest means. Jian Wushuang's clone, as well as Hua Qing's illusion, both possessed the power of the pinnacle of the Three Tribulations realm. This deity, I am afraid it will reach the terrifying combat power of the half-step Four Tribulations realm. Next, Jian Wushuang condensed a mass of life force and threw it directly to Hua Qing. This is the last life force in his body, too many can no longer condense, and the origin of the clone is limited. If it is the deity, as long as he needs a little breathing opportunity, he will be able to recover to the peak. When Hua Qing heard it, she was stunned for a moment, but accepted it anyway. Holding that group of life force, his breath climbed to the peak again. It's just an increase in vitality, but the origin cannot be improved. Cool. Hua Qing took a breath and exclaimed, the force of life is really a good thing. Next, I'm ready to pick up my strongest sword. Jian Wushuang held the Jueyun sword in both hands, condensing all the power of the starry sky on the blade. The starry sky catalogue appears instantly. Hui Qing's expression moved, with the silver long stick in her hand upside down, King Kong glared. The breath on his body also skyrocketed. At the same time, a huge roulette appeared under his feet. Dojo. When Jian Wushuang saw it, his heart was shock. An emperor can bring his own dojo. Hui Qing's whole cards were even more terrifying than he thought. At this moment, Hua Qing's aura directly climbed to the half-step Four Tribulations realm level. Me too. Jian Wushuang shouted angrily, the space changed, and the universe that had not been seen for a long time began to expand. It's just that the current yin-yang universe is not as powerful as the deity displayed. However, the power of increase is still there. In fact, he didn't plan to use yin-yang universe. But when he saw Hua Qing display his whole cards, he was a little panicked. Facing Hua Qing, he has always had confidence. Until this moment, there was some pressure. This kind of pressure is not a sense of oppression. Unlike Broly, the stronger the war, the more oppressive it gives. Barbie Di stared at Jian Wushuang and Hua Qing in the core compartment, and had forgotten the disc in his hand. The moving dojo. Both emperors have. Although it does not seem to be a complete dojo, the increase is only 30%. But after they reach the Tribulation realm, I am afraid they will be able to create a complete mobile dojo. This means that after the two of them become Tribulation realm, their combat power will be one level stronger than that of the same rank. Being strong at one level is actually nothing. In the Tribulation realm, although there are few who can fight beyond the ranks, who are Jian Wushuang and Hua Qing? That is the super arrogant cultivated by Chishan Temple. Moreover, Tianjiao, who was recognized by the starry sky, was ranked in the top even in Guiyue time and space. After they became the Tribulation realm, even if there was no moving dojo, they were able to cross the ranks of World War II. If you add a moving dojo, the combat power will be different. Once Jian Wushuang became the Tribulation realm, he would directly become the Lord of the Universe, that is, the Three Tribulation realm. This is something unprecedented. Even Jian Wushuang didn't know what the situation would be. Coupled with the mobile dojo, Jian Wushuang is equivalent to saying that after becoming the Tribulation realm, he will have the power of the Lord of the Four Tribulation Realm universe. Coupled with the strong origin, the half-step 5 Tribulations realm is not a problem. Maybe it can be comparable to the dispersal of the 5 Tribulations realm. This promotion is no less than the promotion of his Daojun after breaking through to the Emperor. Even a little more. At the 6th level of the Emperor, the distinction in the middle is not as obvious as the robbery realm. Ding! The disc in Bobby's hand suddenly gave out a black mist and made a strange noise. Successful. Bobby Emperor didn't go to see Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing's battle anymore. Dylan was also very excited when he saw the disc move. He has followed Barbie Di for the longest time and is also the first warrior under Barbie Di. Peak combat power, comparable to the half-step 6 Tribulations realm powerhouse. Master Bobby, are you going to turn it on? Dylan took the initiative to light up the lamp in the gap. The light appeared, and a huge egg was placed in front of the two. The eggshell has lines and the color is black. If Jian Wushuang saw this egg, it would definitely be extremely shocked. He has seen this kind of egg several times. The first time was in the murals of the Three Kings Court, and the second time was in the Origin of Everything. The third time was when Froza and Foy Ego left. Giant clan. Bobby Emperor shook his arm, very excited. Because the egg broke its shell immediately. The egg of death he picked up at the beginning is now hatched by him. The existence in this egg will be the Lord of Death. Even worse than his master. It is very heavy to enlighten by death. Bobby Di and Dylan look forward to it together. Jian Wushuang on the ring also felt an extremely asymmetrical breath coming from the ground. A bad thought arose. He understands roughly in his heart and has a connection with himself. The power of life is very special in the flying boat. Barbie Di also valued this kind of power. He broke out unscrupulously. Perhaps some kind of unknown creature was brought out. This made him want to solve the battle more quickly. Take out your strongest means. Jian Wu raised the long sword in both hands, and then said, "This sword, I won't keep my hand." Hui Qing's brows moved slightly, and she seemed to understand something. The silver long stick gathers energy, and a terrifying aura rises from the dojo under his feet, blessing him. Jian Wushuang's Yin-Yan Master of the Universe, the scope has been reduced a lot. After all, it is not his deity's display. That dare to hope, display the strongest master of the starry universe. He can't even use the life universe, he can only use the most ordinary lord of the universe devouring. Probably withstood the power of a black hole. Chapter 57:12. But it can also increase his combat power by nearly 30%, which is already very good. Back then, he relied on this trick to fought against an unknown number of Tianjiao. Star Catalogue. Jian Wushuang shot in an instant. Hui Qing also yelled angrily, and the long stick stirred the situation and rushed directly at Jian Wushuang, wanting to face him head-on. Guluan. Hui Qing's long stick flew out suddenly, and a set of self-made cosmic secrets suddenly broke out. The lines on the top are so complicated that they gradually formed a shield. And Jian Wushuang's Starry Sky Catalogue is the strongest killer. One main defense, one main killing. Really met an enemy. But Jian Wushuang leaked a smile. In front of the Star Catalogue, there is no defense at all. Space will degenerate and time will be suspended. This is the meaning of time and space. Unstoppable. Kill. Defend. The two collided fiercely, and the Jueyun sword did not pierce the shield, but spread to the entire space. The space here begins to freeze, and time goes backwards. When Hui Qing saw it, the speed of her eyes slowed down. His shield is self-defeating, brother Wushuang. Hui Qing felt her body start to freeze, and was about to sink into a portrait. When Jian Wushuang saw it, it was too late to stop. Hui Qing, this is just an illusion, you will be fine, I'm sorry about Jiang Shong. Jian Wushuang leaked an apology. The mark on Hui Qing's eyebrows began to disappear, which also represented the return of sanity. This matter, let's stop here. I will find a way to resurrect her brother in the future. Hui Qing's expression eased. Jian Wushuang shook his head, and said, one person does the job, the other person, you don't have to be caught in the middle to be embarrassed. By the way, how can you bring your thought power to this place? Jian Wushuang looked at Hua Qing suspiciously. When they entered the Guyue time and space together, he saw Hua Qing blocking the heavenly girl, and he didn't know if it was an illusion or what. Originally I wanted to ask, but I have been fighting until now, and the two players can be regarded as a winner. After Hua Qing regained her senses, her eyes were a little dull. He glanced around and replied, I was in a strange place in Guu time and space, and I had an acquaintance to help me, so I entered here. Acquaintances? Jian Wushuang was surprised, and asked, do you have any acquaintances in Guu time and space? But after another thought, Hua Qing had been to the stars. There might be something left, but it's nothing strange. Hua Qing nodded and didn't go into details. After all, this place is the place of Emperor Barbie, and there are some things that really can't be said. Brother Wushuang, I don't have time. Hui Qing's body was completely condensed, leaving only a trace of thought power. This time I lost completely. Although he knew it was a phantom clone, Jian Wushuang still couldn't bear it. Life and death are close, but it is a killer. Jian Wushuang forced to apologize in his heart, and said calmly, we will see you again soon. No. Hua Qing shook his head struggling, and then said, you have to be careful of Guu Ejiao, and don't go to Guu ruins. Never go. Never go. Never go. As soon as the voice fell, Hua Qing's body was completely plunged into a flat space and turned into a starry sky catalogue. Jian Wushuang carefully recalled what he said just now, a little confused. Guu time and space are 9 heavens and 10 earths. Gumu continent is one of the 10 places. The ruins of the ancient moon are also one of the 10 places. Only that piece of the mainland secret realm became a relic. Countless strong people take risks, also known as outland. Like this kind of ruins, there are 2 more among the 10 places. It also contains powerful special beings, as well as some sect aliens. It's a messy place. According to what he saw from the books, the ancient moon ruins were once the origin of the ancient moon in time and space. It is called the Land of Origin. Why did Hua Qing stop him from going to the ancient moon ruins? Jian Wushuang was a little strange. But this is still far away from him, so he didn't think about it. The power of the starry sky was also completely exhausted at this moment. His clone, only divine power remained. 100,000 times the basic divine power, even ordinary tribulation realm cannot beat. Fighting power is not as good as air. The surrounding space is shattered and the illusion is broken. Barbie Di, who was in the core warehouse, breathed a sigh of relief after feeling it. After all, after being out of his control, he felt that something was wrong, and now the illusion was broken, and the stone in his heart also fell. Now just wait. The existence in the giant egg will appear. The mountain of roulette felt the pointer, and when Jian Wushuang and Hua Qing fought, they directly reached consummation, and even the pointer broke. Obviously the power of death required is enough. Now wait for the eggshell to hatch. It was discovered that Jian Wushuang was still alive, and his strength had regressed very seriously, and there was no life force in his body. He is a great hero, Dylan, you go and bring him here, I want him to taste the despair. Bobby Emperor carried his hands on his back and stared at the giant egg. Dylan bowed to take the command, and his figure flashed to Jian Wushuang's side. Putting one hand on Jian Wushuang's shoulder, his figure flashed, and he brought Jian Wushuang to Bobby Emperor's side. Before Jian Wushuang could react, he saw the short and thin green-skinned alien in front of him. And the head is big, but the limbs are slender. You are Emperor Bobby. Jian Wushuang called his name without any fear. When Dylan heard this, he was furious. He squeezed Jian Wushuang's neck and shouted angrily, what kind of thing are you, dare to be disrespectful to Lord Bobby? Forget it, Dylan. Bobby Emperor is in a very good mood now, and he is not angry at Jian Wushuang's disrespect, but feels that Jian Wushuang is his lucky star. Especially seeing Jian Wushuang's death approaching, and being so calm, I felt that it was a talent. Emperor Bobby looked up at Jian Wushuang and replied, what's the matter, have you heard of the name of this seat? Slightly heard. Jian Wushuang touched the dented neck, and then said, what is your relationship with extinction? You can even manipulate the power of death. Master Miesheng, you really know Master Miesheng? Emperor Bobby exclaimed, since you know him, it's not easy to be alive. Jian Wushuang leaked a smile and said in surprise, "Why, is he strong?" 1/2 step 7 Tribulations Realm. Even in the time of God, the 7 Tribulations realm of extinction is not bad. After all, he didn't think how powerful Dongjun could be. This is still a guess. When Emperor Bobby heard Jian Wushuang's words, his eyelids trembled, and he felt that Jian Wushuang was talking big. He knows most about whether the life is strong or not. The extinction before leaving the starry sky is already the overlord of the starry sky, and no one can do anything against him against the 10,000 clan of the starry sky. The power of extinction cannot be understood by the fish in the long river of time and space. Emperor Bobby sneered and asked, "What do you know about the catastrophe? Tribulation?" After asking this question, Jian Wushuang was really stunned. Chapter 57:13. In his understanding, the powerhouse of the robbery realm mastered the complete space, and then cultivated the origin of time. But when Guu time and space arrived, he found that there was another way. It is not a single route. All roads lead to the starry sky, depending on which one suits you. However, in Jian Wushuang's heart, he has always believed that time and space are the most powerful. He didn't believe in the so-called one force breaking 10,000 laws. If there is such power, how can no one get it? If there are no ancients to reach that point, then the line of divine power is a big pie. Deceptive. Time and space are different. Time Kong Zhibao can testify, as well as teacher Xian Yi. Jian Wushuang recalled. When I met with teacher Xian Yi in the Three Kings Court, I once said that I would meet together in the future. Able to travel through time and space. Naturally, there is no need to say more about the strength of teacher Xian Yi. The beginning is a powerful person who masters time and space. He hadn't seen the existence of Yili breaking 10,000s of laws, so he didn't believe it. Even the goddess back then was only in the 9 Tribulations realm. Although opening up this long river of time and space is about to reach its peak, it has hurriedly fallen. Explain that this road is not easy to follow. Even the goddess failed at the beginning. These spiritual practitioners are afraid that they are not dreaming. If you want to break the 10,000 magic with one force, at least it is stronger than the goddess. But since the goddess fell, Guu's time and space has been increasingly dilapidated. There is no such opportunity at all. There is also the power of death. Whether it is extinction, or the current Barbie Di, it is a shortcut. This road is also difficult to follow. Otherwise, extinction will not be trapped in this realm for so long. Thanks Tusk, young man. Emperor Bobby saw Jian Wushuang's thoughts, and then said, "You are an emperor with such strength, you should be proud, but there are some things you have to learn with a humility." Jian Wushuang asked in amazement, "Why, to absorb the strength of others, do you still have to learn this approach?" He almost laughed. As far as this ability is concerned, he is not bad at extinction. It's just that he doesn't have the strength to swallow the death. That day, after his strength surpassed extinction, he still learned a fart, swallowing extinction directly, and mastering reincarnation. Plus the extreme time and space. What he has mastered is the time and space of reincarnation. Then there is a higher level of starry sky. Many lights suddenly appeared on the dim ancient road. Jian Wushuang was unusually firm. Just as he looked around firmly in his heart, he quietly found the dome hidden in the darkness. Dark eggshells, and familiar textures. Giant. Jian Wushuang was taken aback. His clone did not carry the giant token that Froza left him at the beginning, so he never felt the giant egg. Seeing at this time, my heart was shock. He tremblingly pointed at Barbie Di and said, "This is a giant egg." Emperor Bobby was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that Jian Wushuang, an emperor, would actually know the Starry Sky Peak tribe. "You dare to plunder the giant egg, are you afraid of the superpower of the giant clan coming?" Jian Wushuang asked. At the time Froza was imprisoned by the 3 royal courts, it attracted Fuego, but after the destruction of Moro's time and space, the Titans could not find Froza before giving up, otherwise the Temple of Discord would never be spared. He really didn't expect that this Bobby Emperor would also have giant eggs. "Thanks Tusk, it seems that you know a lot." Emperor Bobby stared at Jian Wushuang with interest, pointed to the giant egg, and said, This is a dead egg. Dead egg. Jian Wushuang frowned, he couldn't believe it. The egg was dropped by the giants, how could it die? Froza never said that there were dead eggs. The more he looked at this egg, the more difficult it became. Looking at Jian Wushuang, Emperor Barbie didn't believe it, and coldly snorted, even if it is a living giant egg, what can be done? The giant clan is not in the long river of time and space, and their mastery of the long river of time and space is far inferior to the human race. But you are not a human race. Jian Wushuang reminded. Although I am not a human race, this place is the chassis of the human race, the dojo of the goddess. Do the giant gods dare to come? Barbie Di said very hard. Jian Wushuang was also bluffed. Because when he came here, he was indeed threatened. Later, it was because Hua Qing blocked the goddess and didn't know what he said, he came to succeed. In this way, the will of the celestial lady probably has not disappeared, but has merged into the heavenly realm of Guu time and space. He thought of Hui Qing's reminder just now, telling him not to enter the ancient moon ruins. From when I first came in, I was eager for the opportunity of the robbery, to the willow in the back, and even today. Before he knew it, the black mist seemed to shroud him in a cage again. Jian Wushuang shook his head, not thinking about it anymore. He hasn't even gone out to the ancient wood continent now, and there is no need to go to the ancient moon ruins in the future, just stay away. Young man, just watch it. Bobby Di proudly said, what I do is shining by heaven, no one can stop it, but there will be countless people supporting me. After Dylan heard it, he did not forget to pat the horse and said, the dawn of Lord Bobby will shine on the entire time and space. Vision. Jian Wushuang sneered. Although he is a little confused now, what the Bobby Emperor is going to do, but looking at them, the elder looks like a villain. It won't last a few days. There is only one Dylan, let alone the Gumu faction, who can't bear the anger of the Eternal Kingdom. Daoist Qingtian must have asked for help, I'm afraid it won't take long for reinforcements to come. He wanted to see if these people could be so hard-headed then. Coincidentally, he just thought of reinforcements. They are here. The great power of the Stone Country and the superpower of the Eternal Kingdom come at the same time. The terrifying aura of the Six Tribulations realm rose instantly. The entire flying boat was shaking. Dylan's complexion changed, and his breath began to soar. Don't worry, these people can't get in at all. Barbie Di has absolute certainty. These people came, he was not surprised at all, because he had known in advance. Even if no one notified him, he could still think with his that Daoist Qingtian would ask for help. Click. The three of them looked at the giant egg at the same time. Cracks began to appear in the eggshell. Barbie Di was pleasantly surprised. Haha, it's about to succeed soon. Jian Wushuang had no choice but to watch. He actually wanted to know what kind of monster would be born in the egg of dead egg. What can this give birth to? Just as the three were waiting for the eggshell to burst, the flying boat collapsed first. Boom. The superpowers from the outside world saw the flying boat collapse before they even took action. They were taken aback and looked at the spacecraft revealed from the void in surprise. Don't confess. There is fraud inside. They confirmed their ideas for the first time. A terrifying force of death quietly spread. Chapter 57:14. Those who came were all in the tribulation realm, not the Lord of the universe. The most feared is this kind of power. At this time, I was a little panicked without fighting. This terrifying power of death was much stronger than anyone they had encountered before. How is it possible? Isn't it the five tribulations realm? The mighty person of the Sha kingdom stared at the broken flying boat in disbelief. In the crevice, a terrifying snake of death spread. The core compartment. Emperor Bobby was also a little panicked, his cosmic boat, but brought from the starry sky, suddenly shattered. This spacecraft is a treasure that can resist the superpowers of the Seven Tribulations realm. It broke suddenly. Because of that egg. Jian Wushuang reminded him at this moment. He holds the power of life, and can most appreciate the horror of that egg. It is now beginning to break. The atmosphere inside became more and more terrifying. Although there is no richness and purity in the body of Daisheng, The things in this egg are definitely stronger than Daisheng. Beyond the 6 tribulations realm. Most likely it is the 7 tribulations realm. How could he be so powerful? After the birth of the giant clan, isn't he the lord of the universe? The strongest is no more than the 3 tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang now understands why Emperor Bobby has such a strong confidence. Feelings, this superpower that can give birth to the 7 tribulations realm. After hearing Jian Wushuang's doubts, he was not sorry for this cosmic boat. Instead, he waved his arms in excitement and explained with enthusiasm, "He is the giant egg that I have opened with my own hands, the ordinary giant egg. Why? Maybe compare with him. The 7 tribulations realm is not a goal." According to his speculation, the death giant of the 9 tribulations realm will be born. That's it. Jian Wushuang understood. No wonder Barbie Di had to treat them like a desperate situation, and then healed them. Keep giving them life, and keep giving birth to fear and death in their hearts. All the extracted power was injected into this egg. Today, such a terrifying powerhouse came out. Before he was born, he had the aura of the 7 tribulations realm vibrate at this time. The ancestor of the Eternal Kingdom was the first to discover. Emperor Bobby succeeded. He was the ancestor who opened up the eternal race. The pinnacle of the 7 tribulations realm of strength, although not the master of the universe, has strong vitality. The ancestor of the eternal race leaked a fierce look and shouted angrily, "Babbitt, dare you lie to me?" He cooperated with Barbie Di, but the other party promised that once the plan is completed, he will be notified as soon as possible. "Notify all the awakened clansmen to go to the Eternal Palace, I want to preach." The ancestor of the Eternal Clan leaked a trace of bloodthirsty expression. "The creation of the Eternal Family is for today. Gather the blood and return to the peak. Then look for a breakthrough." Every tribulation realm imagines that one day, it can reignite the road of cultivation. Weak ones may not be accessible. But the powerful 7 tribulations realm, and even the 8 tribulations realm, they all have their own plans. Even if it is a bit of rumors, some legends, they are not willing to give up. Emperor Barbie has mastered this, using the power of life to deceive a lot of powerhouses in the dispersing tribulation realm. Inform them of your plan. Once it succeeds, it can stop the diaspora realm from stagnating, and even break through. Although many people think it is impossible, they still believe it. This is the last hope, and no one wants to give up. Hope of breakthrough. The 7 tribulation realms of the ancient wood school appeared at the same time, and due to their eyes, it was the Eternal Kingdom. The ancestor of the 8 tribulations realm of Sha Kingdom also opened his eyes. The flame who guarded the Stone Kingdom was also discovered. However, the flame gods are special beings, not Sanji or the Lord of the Universe, and there is still an endless road to go. He didn't know the plan of Emperor Bobby, but now that he felt the power of death, he understood that the sky of ancient wood continent was about to change. 9 core time and space. There are truly powerful people who have survived forever. None of those existences can create a way to improve the tribulation realm. Many people have no hope. But there are also some people who are lucky and feel that those powerful people are unwilling to watch the dispersal tribulation realm continue to practice. In this way, those who master time and space will continue to increase. There are only 3 publicly identified super-exists in the 9 great space. If it is the realm of Sanjia, you can also reach the pinnacle. So more or less will make these beings feel uncomfortable in their hearts. Even if there is a way, it will not create this kind of method. Natural selection, in accordance with the way of heaven. There are no catastrophes for special beings and some strange races. An ethnic group like the human race should be bound. Otherwise, it won't turn back. Some 7 tribulations realm powerhouses in ancient wood continent set off one after another towards the Eternal Kingdom. Emperor Soul Heaven, your place is really lively. Shiguo Da Neng, who was the first to arrive, had already reached the rioting Star Sea. Jian Wushuang's clone was frightened and shattered without any hesitation. His deity returned to the country of Yu. That huge figure just now is definitely a powerhouse in the 7 tribulations realm. At the beginning, he had seen the body of the god, and could feel that breath. Above the riot sea, In addition to the super-existence, there was also a blood-colored figure. He has white hair, but his face is as white as jade, and his facial features are abundant and handsome. It is the ancestor of the eternal race. Soul God. He came earlier, but came as a clone. The deity is in the eternal palace. Shixian. The Emperor Soul Tian looked at the huge figure, frowning. Although this place is his chassis, those old monsters in the Seven Tribulations realm are all simple. That's why he was anxious to swallow his blood and let himself reach the peak, so that he could compete with the Eight Tribulations realm for Emperor Bobby. The few powerhouses in the Six Tribulations realm below, seeing the ancestors descend, came to visit one after another. Observe the scene inside the spacecraft together. The terrifying force of death is still spreading. Even Soul Tiendi and Shixian of Shi Kingdom were a little trembling. Shixian, why didn't your ancestor come? The Soul Tiendi stared at the opponent, wanting to delay a little longer. It was only a Seven Tribulations realm from the Shi family who came now, but the ancestor of the Eight Tribulations realm did not come. Don't tell me, your ancestors don't know about it. Shixian replied indifferently. Does the ancestor know that it is not important? He is the backbone of the Stone Clan and cannot take risk. This matter has a lot to do with it. What if the ancestors come and fall? Shugwa may be over. The Flame Gods are willing to protect the Stone Country because of the ancestors of the Stone Country. Once the ancestors fall, the gods will also leave. Never let the ancestors take risks. He is the most powerful Seven Tribulations realm of the Shi clan in the present age, so naturally let him come. As for the Lord of the Universe, there is already hope of promotion, so there is no need to take risks. Even if you plan ahead, you don't need to take such a big risk. The Stone Clan is not as powerful as your Soul Clan. You will die if you die, and the Soul Clan will not be ruined. Shixian knew that the Soul Heaven Emperor who founded the Eternal Clan was not a local powerhouse in GUU time and space. Chapter 57:15. But from other time and space. After hearing this, the Emperor Soul was not angry, but heaved a sigh of relief. He hoped that all Eight Tribulations realm would think so that no one would be his opponent. Even if Shi Kingdom's strongest Seven Tribulations realm was in front of him, it could not withstand a single blow. He condenses the blood pool and can recover to the half-step Eight Tribulations realm. It can match the general Eight Tribulations realm. Except for the Master of the Universe in the Eight Tribulations realm, no one can kill him. Now in the entire GUU time and space, there are not many Masters of the Eight Tribulations realm universe, and there are very few in the Seven Tribulations realm. The ancient wood continent, theoretically, has no Master of the Universe. But the Flame created his own Flame Fuckingdom, and the strength is not weaker than those of the Masters of the Universe. In addition, it is a special life, and it is terrible and powerful. In Gumu continent, almost no one is his opponent. Except for the Shunmu King at the pinnacle. It is a pity that the current Shunmu King is also old. Your deity. Shixian suddenly felt a terrifying aura, which came from the Eternal Kingdom and was shock. The clone of Soul Tiendi gradually dimmed, and there was no answer. Tiger poison still doesn't eat children. You are so cruel. Shixian stared at the Emperor Soul Heaven in disgust. At the same time, all the Seven Tribulation realms that had cooperated with Barbie Di descended. Except for the ancestors of Shugwa, they have gathered together. The soul of the Emperor is still a strong man who the awakened blood in Hoi. Together with the Emperor of the Eternal Kingdom, they also turned into dead bones. All of them didn't realize until they died that they were just pawns. It was calculated by my ancestors. In the blood pool. The last half-step strongman of the Eternal Clan in the Seven Tribulations realm raised his head and looked at the Soul Heaven Emperor, and said angrily, "You are the greatest enemy of my Eternal Clan. The human race is on the brink, you are all foreign races. Even if I personally created it, you will all die." The Soul Heaven Emperor sneered, without any mercy. All the strong who awakened his blood in the Eternal Clan have fallen. The rest are ordinary people. The strongest is the Three Tribulations realm. The Soul Heaven Emperor rushed into the bleeding pool, and he didn't even plan to let go of these people. Together with the Six Tribulations realm powerhouse who was dispatched by him to riot Shanghai, all rose up. Their bodies began to dim and shattered. The red blood veins all gathered towards the Soul Heaven Emperor. And his strength is constantly skyrocketing. This shocked all the powerhouses in Riot Shanghai. What a cruel heart. The strong man of the Jiu Mu faction was speechless. Shi Xian's complexion was gloomy, and he was more worried about the current Emperor Soul Heaven than condemning him. The strength suddenly soared so much, these people are definitely not opponents. Snatching Barbie Di later is a problem. Here, there are a total of 9 tribulations realm, and it is considered that the soul world is 10. As to whether there are other strong players, they don't know. The entire Eternal Kingdom began to collapse. The storm on the rioting star sea swept across the earth, and all things that slack life were all dimmed. Only these 7 tribulations realm can resist. At this time, the Eternal Kingdom was quietly closed. People outside cannot feel the changes in the Eternal Kingdom at all. Just discovered those powerhouses gathered in the Eternal Realm in the 7 tribulations realm, gathered on the edge of the Eternal Realm, and discovered a huge screen that soars the sky. Blocked their way. Go back and notify the ancestors. These people only left the clones to observe here, and all the deities returned to the clan to notify the ancestors. Those who can cooperate with Barbie Di are all in the 7 tribulations realm and even the 8 tribulations realm. There are some Sanjis who are relatively old-fashioned and do not want to believe in Barbie Di. Nowadays, knowing the changes in the Eternal Kingdom, many superpowers of the robbery have come one after another, but they can't enter the Eternal Kingdom and can only do it in a hurry. The Wood King of the ancient Wood School, the ancestor of the Stone Kingdom, just looked at all this from a distance. They all discovered that in the Eternal Kingdom, 2 terrifying forces have risen. One is the Soul Heaven Emperor. He has absorbed all the eternal blood, and has achieved the battle power of the 8 tribulations realm. On the other is the infinite death power of the Carrier, which is extremely terrifying. Now the aura has risen to the 8 tribulations realm, more powerful than the Soul Heaven Emperor. This time, the soul of the Emperor was self-defeating. The ancestors of the Stone Kingdom and the King of Shenmue frowned. They still underestimated Emperor Bobby, a powerful alien from the stars. How could it be so easy to create the method of the diaspora realm? Even if it is created, Barbie Di will not give it to them for free. So what is he planning? The strong in the Eternal Kingdom are almost dead. Several 7 tribulations realm who can be close to Barbie Di will also be in the doomsday. These people have neglected Jian Wushuang's existence. It seems that no one knew that Jian Wushuang was in the center of the storm. Eternal Kingdom. It can't be regarded as a country anymore, because people were killed by the founding emperor himself. In order to forge a pool of blood, the people of an eternal kingdom were killed. Improve his bloodline, and kill all the strong of the eternal race. Completely achieved the terrifying combat power of the 8 tribulations realm of the Soul Heaven Emperor. Only a barren desert was left in the devastated Star Sea. The sea water has long been evaporated. 10 people stood in the dim scarlet sky. 9 people besieged one at the same time. They all want to enter the spaceship half buried by yellow sand. Emperor Soul Heaven, cruel to the common people, I will kill you on behalf of the ancient Wood School. Wolf's ambition, don't stay. Each of these 7 tribulations is an ancestor of one party, or the facade of a family. Now he was speaking high-sounding words and besieging the Soul Heaven Emperor. The Soul Heaven Emperor had done something wrong, and the mistake was that he didn't do anything in advance, and killed all these people as soon as possible. Now facing the 9-7 tribulation realms, although he still has the upper hand, he also understands that he can't drag on like this. Bobby Di is also not simple. Everyone, you seem to have forgotten your mission. After the Emperor Soul Heaven suppressed a 7 tribulations realm casually, he continued, we are to rekindle the road of cultivation. Why bother to hurt each other now? I swear by Soul Heaven. Emperor Bobby will definitely let him spread the teachings throughout GUU time and space. Shi Xian snorted coldly, and said gloomily, you have even cut off your children and grandchildren, so why do we trust you? In fact, the Emperor Soul Heaven really had this plan. UU reading www.ukenshu.com. It's not how selfless he is. Rather, He wants to unite all the powerhouses in the dispersal tribulation realm to establish his own eternal kingdom. The eternal kingdom now is a joke. He also dreamed of the arrival of the emperor in the kingdom of thousands of immortals. Brother Shi, haven't you seen the reality clearly? The Soul Heaven Emperor yelled, and slapped Shi, who was rushing forward with a palm. He pointed to the cosmic boat below and said, "Don't forget, Barbie Di has never appeared. Although the power of death is constantly rising, who knows who owns that breath? Yes. These people haven't even seen that existence. How can they believe that Emperor Barbie has created the method?" Chapter 57:16. The power of death can be born infinitely, and then the breath will skyrocket. What if it's not a human race, or it's not suitable for them to cultivate? There are still more problems. Can't fight inwardly. Just when these people hesitated, a large number of powerful people gathered outside the eternal kingdom. Among these powerhouses, there are quite a few masters of the universe. They can say that they don't know anything about Barbie Di. A superfamily like the Stone Clan, cooperating with Barbie Di, is only the ancestor of the Stone Clan and knows Shi. They are not so stupid to let their own universe lord participate in it. Not to mention whether the strength is enough, in case the ancient moon god sect finds out, it will probably fall into the sky of anger. Not worth it. GUU's time and space was dilapidated, but the power controlled by the ancient moon god sect was not something their families could bear. Today, there is still the Lord of the Universe in the 8 Tribulations realm in the religion. Who can stop this kind of superpower coming? The flame gods have to stay behind. After all, it is an abnormal dojo. Even if it comes to the kingdom of Flame God, you can fight the god of flame. The real master of the universe is not comparable to a special life. Even if you create your own kingdom of God, it won't work. At the border of the eternal kingdom, a familiar figure of Jian Wushuang descended here, looking inside through the huge scarlet screen. It seems that the rumors are true. Wu Li stood with his hands behind his back and looked into the depths. He was talking to himself, looking particularly funny. But inside his body, there was a heavy voice answering, "The power of death is ridiculous." Wu Li touched his nose, and then said, "The power of death is regenerated. Doesn't this mean that those who disperse the calamity have a way to reignite the path of cultivation? It's not that simple. Death is death. Only the power of life is hope, especially the power of life that is in line with Wanliu. When you enter the interior of Wanliu, you will understand that the strongest power of life can even be used in the universe. The hope of resurrection and dispersal requires a super being who masters the power of life, rather than relying on these crooked ways." A heavy voice came from Wu Li's mind. "I hope so." Wu Li nodded, and did not stay here for too long before returning to Yu country. Because Jian Wushuang's deity returned, he needed to replace some of the original treasures, and he had to do things with Jian Wushuang. Now Jian Wushuang, but Wu Li's greatest reliance in entering the Wanliu Shunmu, he will do his best to do whatever he wants, regardless of his requirements. The level of life force in his jade sword is not too high. Compared with Jian Wushuang's life force, it is obviously not at the same level. The purity is different. Ordinary life force is the vitality in the body. This is the cheapest, and some things can be refined from the origin. The power of life can be refined at the highest level, and even the master of the universe in the 8 Tribulations realm can't refine it. The life force he got was still given to him by the existence in his body, and it was taken from the Wanliu Shunmu at the beginning. It is the life force of Wn Liu. The life of wood represents the pinnacle. The jade sword is only contaminated with the slightest, and it has extremely powerful vitality. Can also rely on this kind of intimacy to open up the Shunmu. But Wu Li didn't know that the sword had no life force on his hands, and it was not taken from the sacred tree. At that time, when the Shunmu is turned on, I don't know what jokes will be made. It's just that these are things to follow. When the holy meeting came, more than 10 Seven Tribulations realm experts gathered in the Eternal Realm on Gumu continent, and no one knew what was going on inside. Inside the spaceboat. At this time, Jian Wushuang and Barbie Di and the others worked together to break the crack in the giant egg. This scene was very funny. The secret technique of Emperor Bobby's cultivation is very powerful, but the combat power is not strong. Only the level of a catastrophe. But the ability of enslavement is unique in GUU time and space. At this time, all his strength was exhausted, and the giant god's eggshell did not move. Make a little more effort, those people outside will definitely risk coming in later, and they will all be done by then. Bobby Emperor was anxious at this time. He was very excited at first, thinking that the giant egg could directly give birth to a super strong. As a result, the power of death is now gone, and the eggshell still hasn't opened. He panicked. This is his strongest hole card. Without this egg, Dylan alone could not stop those 7 tribulations realm. Gula Gula. Barbie Di Pinch Ju cast a peculiar spell, one hand pointed at Dylan and the other pointed at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang took the initiative to accept the breath, but did not hesitate, it was a clone anyway. So strong. Jian Wushuang suddenly clenched his fist, his supernatural power doubled immediately. From 100,000 times to 200,000 times. The breath on Dylan's body also went from the half-step 6 tribulations realm to the 7 tribulations realm. Don't be stunned, hurry up. Bobby Emperor yelled at the two. He himself has not changed anything, he can only make others stronger. Jian Wushuang ignored him, and when he felt his strength had grown stronger, he began to pull the eggshells that had not yet escaped from the clean. After Dylan's supernatural power increased, one piece at a time, he went crazy to disassemble those eggshells. The eggshell is about to be completely cracked. Jian Wushuang was already peeping through the gap. Obviously he has extremely powerful power, but he can't get out of it. This made Jian Wushuang very curious, and he didn't need Bobby Emperor to threaten him, so he took the initiative to disassemble the eggshell. After knowing the greatest reliance of Barbie Di, he was relieved. Although it is temporarily unclear whether he and Mieshing are in the same group, at least the other party knows that he has the power of life, but has no intention of devouring him. This is much better than extinction. Seeing him is like a wild dog seeing shit. No, it can't be compared like that. Anyway, extinction is anxious to swallow him, the two can only live one. Barbie Di did not have this idea. This can be seen from the eyes. But this does not mean that the other party will not do anything to him. If the two are relatively close, Barbie Di will definitely send him to extinction. If the relationship is not good, Barbie Di will break the path of extinction and kill him. There is no way to survive. Unfortunately, Bobby's strength is too weak. Can't see that he is just a clone. Dylan is loosing the robbery again, has improved his divine power, but he has not improved his realm, nor can he see his details. Only knowing the death, he will not die so easily. Jian Wushuang and Dylan continued to disassemble, and there was movement inside, and the aura seemed to strengthen again despite the drop of the eggshell. This made Barbie Di very excited and continued to inspire the two of them. Dylan, hurry up, when I succeed, I will seal you up as a prince. Jian Wushuang, you can't stop, if I reach the top, I will help you swallow the extinction, and let you take the reincarnation of time and space. The words of Barbie Di are getting bigger and bigger. Mastering the cycle of time and space has come out. If you really have to master it, Jian Wushuang can aspire to all the time and space. Chapter 57:17. Believe is definitely not believed. These old guys are very bad. But he was not idle. He has to work harder than Dylan, and can't wait to let the giants in the eggshell come out. In fact, it is not only because of curiosity. More importantly, he has the token of the giant gods. With that token, the born dead giant clan powerhouse might not attack him, maybe even help him. This is a great helper. It has not yet come out, it has the aura of the 8 tribulations realm, if it comes out, not to mention the soaring to the 9 tribulations realm, it may be possible to reach the state of half a step in the 9 tribulations realm. The half-step 9 tribulations realm represents the peak of GUU's time and space. Perhaps GUU Shinjiao didn't have such a powerful opponent, and the opponent really wanted to help him, this GUU time and space, he was not walking sideways. Tear. The sound of space tearing sounded, Jian Wushuang's busy hands paused, and then he felt the tightness of a few horror auras wrapping him. Babbitt. 10 terrifying figures appeared in the core warehouse. The whole space was trembling. Barbie DI backed back one after another, suppressed a little breathless. It is no different from Jian Wushuang. Even Jian Wushuang is more able to resist pressure than him. Dylan saw these people without fear, and directly stood in front of Emperor Bobby, stretched out his hands, and stopped everyone. This time, without being reminded by Emperor Bobby, Jian Wushuang frantically destroyed those eggshells. Want that giant clan powerhouse to come out quickly. Otherwise, he will be eliminated from the game this time. It's you guys, what is this going to do? Although Emperor Bobby was suppressed, his heart was like Ming Jing, knowing that he would buy time for Jian Wushuang now. The Soul Tiandi glanced sideways at Jian Wushuang, and then said, "Respected Lord Bobby, what you promised back then should be fulfilled. Let me stay quiet, our respected Lord Bobby, what are you doing behind our back?" Shishien walked slowly. Dylan wanted to stop, but Shishien hit his chest with a punch, and his entire body sank in. One punch hit Dylan hard, and he didn't reveal a trace of supernatural power. Bobby retreated to the corner, not daring to move. Although knowing that these people will not kill him, if he is looted, he will be over. In the past, these people didn't deal with him because they wanted to raise fish. Now that the fish is fat, it's time to catch it and enjoy it. Shishien also found Jian Wushuang. The aura seen from Jian Wushuang's body was only 200,000 divine power, and the realm was not clear. A calamity realm with 200,000 divine powers is not afraid of them, and after they descend, there is still a giant egg. This made Shishien very surprised. That power is in the egg. Only then did the Soul Tiandi discover it. The inside of the cosmic ark was special. They hadn't noticed something wrong just after it arrived, but now they discovered that the giant egg was exuding the aura of the 8 Tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang knew that it wouldn't work anymore, so he thought about it and jumped off the giant egg. Stopped everyone. The Soul Tiandi sneered and said with a mockery, "Why, is Lord Bobby's servants no longer?" A calamity realm with 200,000 divine powers stopped in front of the 9-7 calamities realm, and dared to face a Soul Heaven Emperor who possessed the combat power of the 8th stage realm. Let a nasty kid come out? Everyone smiled. In their opinion, the divine power has not broken 1 million, and they are not superpowers. 1 million divine power requires at least half a step of the battle power of the 7 Tribulations realm. Dylan, who had just over 1 million, was defeated by Shishwani. Probably the weakest of these old guys have more than 1.5 million magical powers. Full of oppression. Even if Jian Wushuang was the deity here, he used the strongest Starry Sky catalogue, as if he was scraping these people. The Starry Sky catalogue, although you can plunge your opponent into a Starry Sky portrait. But these people can't do everything with one force. But breaking Jian Wushuang's method was easy. The sword has no double-sided color and is calm. Not only was it a clone, but he had a countermeasure. "You old guys." Jian Wushuang raised the corners of his mouth and yelled directly, "This is the egg of the giant gods, and it contains your method to reignite the road of cultivation. I see who of you dare to attack." The Soul Tiandi and others were all taken aback. Shishien moved the corner of his eyes and said with disdain, "Boy, do you dare to bluff me? Thanks Tusk, I didn't scare you. If you don't believe me, just try it." Jian Wushuang gave way and stretched out his hand to let everyone go forward. Barbie DI was furious at this time. This is his masterpiece. Even if it is dead, I don't want these people to be ruined. Dare you? Bobby Emperor played a secret method and directly arranged an enchantment on the giant egg. Want to keep dragging? The more he looked at this time, the more he felt wrong. The power of death in it was still rising. If they let the opponent out, they might not be opponents. There is still a crisis of fall. Destroy it. Caused by everyone's gaze. There was a voice in my heart. This is a scourge. They felt that Barbie DI was able to revive a dead thing and enhance such a powerful strength. They already believed that the other party had created a way to rekindle the path of cultivation. There is nothing to lose by destroying this egg. But Barbie DI knew that he had never created a way to reignite the path of cultivation. I never thought of creating it to benefit the entire time and space. His plan is to control all the dispersion realm, and then dominate the entire time and space. What is the most in the 9 great spaces? The most scattered robbery. Except for the existence of the 3-9 tribulations realm that can last forever, the rest will basically embark on the road of dispersal. And there will be more and more such powerhouses. As long as these people are mastered, then Barbie DI can dominate time and space. That's why he will revive this giant egg after death. Once his experiment is successful, he will be able to use the giant gods with the power of death to erode those dispersal realms, and then control them. No. Bobby Emperor wailed. Dylan got up from the ground and wanted to stop him, but was shattered by the powerful aura directly. Com only has half life left. Jian Wushuang didn't think as much as Emperor Bobby. A trace of pride appeared in his heart, and then waited for these people to take action. The Emperor Soul Heaven gathered chi with both hands, and condensed 2 groups of colorful chi waves from the clenched palms. When he pressed his hands, the 2 chi waves merged together, and an aura that ruined the world and the earth burst out in an instant. Antiquity. The breath strengthened again. Jian Wushuang came directly behind the Soul Heaven Emperor this time. His aura was too strong, he could fall as long as he contaminated it. With this blow, I am afraid that the entire Eternal Kingdom will be destroyed, and the Gumu continent will be shaken. Maybe the mainland will have to land and sink. Crazy. The other 9 superpowers in the 7 tribulations realm were also moved. Chapter 57:18. They have not done anything like this in Gumu continent. Even if they did it, they didn't have such a strong strength. The power gathered in the hands of the Soul Heaven Emperor had reached the level of the 8 tribulations realm. This blow can really destroy the Eternal Kingdom. But it doesn't matter. People have been sacrificed in blood by the Soul Heaven Emperor, and now that the Eternal Kingdom disappears with a single blow. It is completely destroyed. Broken. The Emperor Soul Heaven shouted the last word, the colorful air wave between his hands blasted out, and the universe ship was instantly annihilated. Jian's hands were quick, and he brought both Dylan and Bobby DI to a safe position. That is, behind those 7 tribulations realm, relying on the aura of those 7 tribulations realm to resist the powerful waves of air. The scorching heat wave hits, and the divine body is less than 100,000 times lower than it can be melted in an instant. Fortunately, Emperor Bobby blessed his divine power to 200,000 times. Otherwise, he would never see this horrible blow. Under the heat wave, through the endless white light, Jian Wushuang witnessed the power of the 8 tribulations realm with his own eyes. The entire Eternal Kingdom is gone. Looking from the top of the ancient wood continent, there is an unfathomable huge pit on the land. After the heat wave and white light, the ground was shaking. The nearby countries and even the entire ancient wood continent are shaking. It took a few breaths before it slowly calmed down. Jian Wushuang was completely shocked. He thought of the time and space of Maruo at the time. He knew that the time and space of Maruo was destroyed at the time. He thought that people were all dead. Now it seems that it was destroyed by pure power. Destroying a long river of time and space in the middle reaches is not only because of swallowing it. Fear. These 2 words can't describe Jian Wushuang's mood at this time. The glare reflected, and everyone experienced brief blindness. The Soul Heaven Emperor seemed to have overdrawn his power, and the aura of the whole person dropped a little. The rest of the 7 tribulations realm was sighing, but fortunately, they didn't fight the Soul Heavenly Emperor, otherwise, if the blow continues, they will be seriously injured if they die. Too frightening. The power of the 8 tribulations realm is really not comparable to them. He also sacrificed the blood of his own Hu-Yi with the blood of the Emperor Soul Heaven, allowing himself to return to the pinnacle, comparable to the 8 tribulations realm. However, this kind of power should be limited, and the same method would not be used a few times by the Soul Heaven Emperor. But even so, the strength of the Soul Heaven Emperor, at this moment, the ancient wood continent, can also be ranked in the top 5. Except outside the 8 tribulations, the universe master in the 7 tribulations realm was able to fight the Soul Heaven Emperor. This is the first time many people have seen such a terrifying power. Barbie DI once followed the extinction in the peak period, but he was not shocked by this blow. just worried about the destruction of the giant egg. Now staring at the black mist in the center of the strong light. The rest is the same. It should be dead, Shixian said tremblingly. Although Jian Wushuang's strength is not as strong as these people, the power of death is very sensitive to him, and he can still feel a trace of the power of death. Just now, the soul Tiandi made a full blow, but did not destroy the giant egg. Now wait for the strong light to dissipate and find out. Even if he is not dead, I am afraid that there will be a sigh of relief. Jian Wushuang shook his head helplessly. If these people knew the truth, I am afraid they would regret doing it now. The hope of Emperor Bobby is all on the giant egg, and the method of creating a renewed spiritual path is also related to the giant egg. Destroy now, it's over. Call. The Emperor Soul Tien put away his breath and took a deep breath. He had just displayed 10% of his supernatural power, which indeed consumed a lot. The power of the dispersing tribulation realm is getting less and less, and he can't use it a few times to attack him at this level. Of course, he was also betting that he could rekindle the road of cultivation this time, so what was the amount of energy spent now? Wow! The glare ended. The bright light outside the Eternal Kingdom also disappeared. Countless tribulation realm who came to watch, fled one after another. The breath just now has exceeded their imagination. If it weren't for the twilight, they would have to die. That wave of energy passed through the giant egg, and all the remaining power hit the blood twilight. Fortunately, the blood twilight was extremely powerful and did not break. If there is a rupture, only a trace of strength is needed to wipe out those unlucky catastrophes. As for Jian Wushuang and the others, they were resisted by a few 7 tribulations realm. There was nothing to do, but the bright light couldn't open their eyes. Now the light has settled. The 3 stood up. Dylan was already seriously injured, but he was still supporting Bobby Di. My lord, it's over. Dylan stared at the position of the giant egg and couldn't help sighing. The eyes of Bobby Di's eyes were about to burst. Only Jian Wushuang felt that it was not that simple. The position of the giant egg, now there are only some floating eggshells. As for the giant inside, it is gone. But the force of death is still there. Kai floating in the air. Shixian and others breathed a sigh of relief, and said calmly, it seems that it has been solved. Soul Emperor. The others are a little worried about the future development. The strength displayed by the Soul Heaven Emperor is too terrifying, and these people are not opponents at all. Now Barbie Di is by his side. Everyone wants monopoly. The war is about to start. But when they were guarding the Soul Heaven Emperor, they found that the Soul Heaven Emperor was motionless and pale. Not good. Shixian first noticed something was wrong, and quickly backed away. Just as Shixian retreated, and the rest of the people just reacted, the body of the Soul Heaven Emperor burst instantly. The power of death revived again. After being broken into his body, the Soul Heaven Emperor seemed to have escaped from the cage. He is in my body. The Soul Heaven Emperor looked shocked. He just finished his attack and felt that it had been resolved, but he did not expect that the breath that he swallowed contained the power of death. And this force has will. Everyone moved their sights to the bursting flesh of the Soul Heaven Emperor, their eyes sluggish. Still alive. Bobby Emperor exclaimed excitedly. As long as the giant in the egg is still alive, there is still hope of a comeback. None of the 10 great 7 tribulations realm here is an opponent. Jian Wushuang also looked shocking. He thought this giant should be seriously injured even if he didn't die. But now that force of death is climbing extremely and getting stronger. Frightening power. Ukanshu. Calm in the sky, countless breaths of death gradually condensed into a black mist, and then rushed to the place where the soul of the Emperor's body burst. It seems to be merging. After the recovery, the soul of the Emperor's eyes shrank, and he shouted angrily, hurry up and kill him. At this time, the rest of the people also reacted, and they all tried their best. At this time, the Emperor Soul Heaven compressed his breath again with both hands, preparing to expand his moves again. But Emperor Bobby stood up and blocked the place where the black mist condensed. You have to do it again, even this seat will be killed. Barbie Di gritted his teeth. He didn't want to be controlled by others. The days of being a dog for Miesheng were not easy. Finally escaped. After so long, he didn't want to be controlled by these people. Chapter 57:19. Even if I am going to die, I will not bow my head. Shi Xian and others hesitated. If they kill Barbie Di, they will be in vain this time. Seeing everyone hesitate, the Soul Heaven Emperor furiously said, "You won't pull him away." At this time, someone reacted and wanted to step forward to catch Barbie Di. I saw that the Seven Tribulations Realm powerhouse had just approached, and he was stopped by the protective cover outside Bobby Emperor. Haha, it's not that easy to catch me. As long as you attack, I will remove the protective cover and die together. Jian Wushuang looked at it sightfully. At this time, he had no choice but to be a bystander. This time it was not in vain. Even the power of the Eight Tribulations realm has been seen, and the only regret may be that he did not see the birth of the giant god. Although these Seven Tribulations realm are very eager to rekindle the path of cultivation, they still choose the latter compared to their own fate. Do it. No one was hesitating this time. It is bound to kill even Barbie Di. Otherwise, when the giant gods condense, they will be finished. The breath of the power of death is too terrifying. The 10 Seven Tribulation realms, each showing their magical powers, took out the chassis one after another. For a time, countless rays of light shone down from the sky. Jian Wushuang had escaped early. A huge petal withered from the sky, followed by a loud hum, shattered space, and time disorder. The figures of everyone are a little distorted. The space they are in is already unstable, and they can only step back to see the situation. Jian Wushuang was staring at Dylan, who had fallen into the abyss below. He flashed, and instantly came to Luo Luan, and fished Dylan out of the gravel. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief when the mark on the opponent's forehead was still there. The mark of Dylan's control is still there, proving that Barbie Di is still alive. Moreover, the force of death has not disappeared. This time it was Soul Tiandi's turn and Shi Xian and others desperate. Can't kill. The 10 of them work together, plus Soul Heaven Emperor, a super powerhouse with 8 Calamity Realm combat power. It is already comparable to the top 8 Tribulations realm. It hasn't succeeded yet. On the contrary, the force of death became stronger, and the aura continued to rise. Jian Wushuang frowned when he felt the force of death. It seems something is not right. Emperor Bobby has something to do with extinction. He has something to do with extinction. Then when I arrived in GUU time and space, it didn't take long before I met Emperor Barbie. It was a coincidence. And now Bobby Emperor has come up with another thing similar to extinction, based on death. Although he has mastered the power of life, he is not based on life. Ji Dao evolved into a starry sky, lighting up the universe, and he was all based on the sword. It can be regarded as normal cultivation, which is different from extinction. Power is not single. Exit. Jian Wushuang held Dylan and turned to look towards the sky. He wants to run away now. In the sky, the black mist gathers. A figure slowly formed. The size of 1,000 battles. There are still red lines on the face of the devil's chest. Titan. There are 9 red striped roads on his chest. Linked to the dark red core in the center of the chest. There is his heart. It is still shining now. Jian Wushuang saw the identity of the opponent at a glance. Giant Clan, the line of Red God. Overlord of the starry sky, the Giant Clan. There are also clans and branches. Froza, Fiego, and Famesa are all giants of the clan, with noble blood. And this Red God line is just a branch. But even so, they are true giants, not to be underestimated. Moreover, this existence was carefully crafted by Barbie Di. It was supposed to be dead, but now it is based on the power of death and reborn. It's over. The 7 Tribulation Realm powerhouses all leaked out of despair. That power is terrible. And in the center of the eyebrows of this giant tribe, there is also the mark of slavery of Barbie Di. Barbie Di appeared out of thin air, covered with a red light mask. Thank you, Kai Jiuxiao. Emperor Bobby was full of confidence on his face. He turned his head and thanked Kai Jiuxiao first, and then turned to look at those 7 tribulations. Titan. Kai Jiuxiao. When Emperor Bobby's unkind gaze swept over, Kai Juxiao's gaze also looked over. This makes everyone can't help but shrink their necks. Jian Wushuang, come here. Emperor Bobby greeted Jian Wushuang to come, and then pointed to those 7 tribulation realms and said, I will give you a choice. Kneel down and be a dog. Jian Wushuang, who flew towards Barbie Di, almost fell from the sky when he heard these words. This is definitely the most arrogant thing he has ever heard. A choice. That is no choice. Carrying Dylan and came to Bobby Emperor, Jian Wushuang stood behind Bobby Emperor. Now he seems to be a man of Barbie Di. Your performance just now is very good. Bobby discomplexion eased, and then said, I originally planned to kill you. In this way, the old dog will definitely go crazy. He is looking for life. It took a long time before I found you. As long as you die, you can actually give peace to the starry sky, otherwise this guy will definitely harm the starry sky after he returns to his peak. Jian Wushuang was as calm as ever. Anyway, the clone came, and he was fearless. Listening to Bobby's narration, he nodded and replied, It seems that you have changed your mind. Yes. Barbie Di did not deny. He was indeed planning to kill Jian Wushuang. This is no longer necessary. Perhaps after seeing Kai Juxiao's strength, he started to be a wolf. Or, he has other plans for Jian Wushuang. In his way, return his body. He also wanted to use Jian Wushuang to destroy the opponent. Not why, just to vent the evil anger to the original self. He wanted to help Jian Wushuang to devour the life. When Jian Wushuang heard this idea, he sneered in his heart. He accepted this kindness. In his opinion, Barbie Di still does not understand extinction. Extinction can talk to him through the time and space of Moro. Who can guarantee that the giant Kai Joxiao has nothing to do with extinction? Although the power of death on the 2 bodies is different, the smell is too similar. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to be careless. The deity is planning to run away at any time. Extinction seemed to have seen through, and explained, Don't worry, Kai Joxiao doesn't need to swallow life force, just as it can reach the top. It seems to be wrong. Jian Wushuang could only nod his head at this time, and even those 7 tribulations realm were about to be dogs. He is an emperor, but he has no choice. Fortunately, it's just a clone. Why don't you just follow Bobby Di? The deity is hiding in the Yu country, waiting for the holy meeting to start entering the Wanliu Shenmu. Next, let's see how Bobby Di planned. Seeing that the Soul Tiendi and the others really twisted, Bobby's palm was placed on Dylan's chest, and Dylan's injury was instantly restored. Chapter 57:20. Jian Wushuang was a little surprised when he saw this scene. Really can't underestimate people. Obviously the strength is very average, but it can control so many strong people, and can also heal and increase. Cool. After Dylan recovered, he stood behind Emperor Bobby, staring at those who twisted the super strong, his mouth raised. Doomed, but so. Kai Joxiao, go kill a few to practice hand skills. Bobby Emperor saw that these people didn't give him a lot of face, and he took 3 breaths. These people haven't thought about it yet. Hearing the order of Emperor Bobby, Kai Joxiao shot instantly. Directly found the most powerful Soul Heaven Emperor. His instinct told him that if he swallowed the opponent, he would strengthen himself. This is also the most perverted place in Kai Joxiao, and also the proud place of Emperor Bobby. To rekindle the path of cultivation in the Sanjie realm, it is to swallow those weak Sanjie. Of course, only Kai Joxiao can do this. No matter what, as long as the road can be rekindled, it is already half the battle. Next, we still need to continue to improve. From the perspective of servitude, we can remove the devouring thing that is too deep, so that those diaspora realms can condense the power of death to practice. Then it can create a way to reignite the path of cultivation. In this way, all those who practiced this method in the dispersing tribulation realm needed to become his slaves. As for the devouring class, forget it. It will cause the 9 great time and space shocks, and then the masters of the universe will also find him trouble. Although there are many tribulation realms, the real combat power is still on the side of the master of the universe. And there are 3 eternal existences that will last forever. Can't be too crazy. Be low-key. On the other side, Kai Jiuxiao had already confronted the Soul Heaven Emperor. With just a few moves, the pinnacle Soul Heaven Emperor hit was severely injured. The other 9-7 Tribulations realm, including Shixian, came to the side of Emperor Barbie and directly bowed down and bowed. They are not stupid. I don't agree now, only one death. It is promised that not only can you live, but you can also become the first batch of superpowers to rekindle the path of cultivation. Why not do it? The Soul Heaven Emperor only supported a few breaths, and couldn't hold it anymore. Master Bobby, I am willing to be your dog, the Soul Heaven Emperor shouted loudly. But Emperor Bobby turned a deaf ear to his ears, and chatted with those 7 Tribulations realm emperors who had taken refuge in very politely. This also made those 7 Tribulations realm powerhouse sigh. The strength of the Soul Heaven Emperor is much stronger than them. Barbie Di didn't care much. It seems that being a dog doesn't matter how strong it is, it depends on who is more knowledgeable about current affairs. Loyalty comes first. After understanding this, everyone spoke more attentively. What Jian Wushuang was watching was clear from the side. The way of slavery is really extraordinary. Barbie Di can reach today, with absolute mind. Seeing that the Soul Heaven Emperor could no longer hold it, Emperor Bobby waved his hand and said, Zhu Xiao, come back. Kai Jiuxiao heard that without any hesitation, even if he wanted to swallow the Soul Heaven Emperor very much, he still honestly returned to Bobby Emperor and stood respectfully. The figure has also changed from the size of 10,000 battles to the height of a battle. Even stronger than the burly Dylan. The appearance of the flesh is like an evil god. It's terrifying, and it's turbulent just to make people look at it. Those in the 7 Tribulations realm saw this plague be so respectful and obedient in front of Emperor Bobby, and his kneeling posture changed into a straightforward manner. This time, Emperor Bobby didn't need to speak again, the Emperor's Soul Heaven flew over. Master Bobby. The Soul Tiendi knelt at the feet of Emperor Bobby like everyone else. Such a powerful Soul Heaven Emperor, the Soul Heaven Emperor who sacrificed all his relatives in blood. In the end it became a dog. En. Barbie Di proudly raised his head and stretched out a hand, with a ring made of various gems on the top. The Soul Tiendi swallowed when he saw the green paw sticking out. He stretched his head and kissed. Master. The eyes of the Emperor Soul Tien changed, staring at the eyes of Emperor Bobby, extremely respectful. A black mark appeared on the center of his eyebrows. When the others saw it, they rushed forward and kissed the back of Barbie Di's hand. Jian Wushuang was speechless. He was wondering, if it were the deity, would he be like these people now? At present, it seems that Barbie Di wants to keep him. I just don't know if Bobby Di will enslave his clone. Once he wants to be enslaved, he still has to go. If the clone is enslaved, even the deity is enslaved. He is finished. Wow. A circular spaceship appeared above the crowd. Emperor Bobby backed his hands and said calmly, it's time to leave. Everyone entered the cabin together from the floating compass below the spaceship. The furnishings in the core warehouse are weird. It's nothing like objects in time and space. This is something from the Starry Sky civilization. They don't know and it's normal. In front of a round table that grew from the ground, Barbie Di was sitting in the first place, and Jian Wushuang was sitting on the opposite side. On both sides are the top 10 7 Tribulations realm powerhouse. Dylan stood behind Bobby Emperor like a guard, without taking a seat. As for the table, there are all kinds of metals. Barbie Di picked up a piece at will and chewed it. The rise of eating. The rest, including Jian Wushuang, did not move. Seeing that these people didn't use their mouths, Emperor Bobby wiped the corners of his mouth, swept everyone's eyes coldly and said, take it out and don't eat it, I senti it not giving me face. When everyone heard it, their bodies trembled, and they picked up the metal on the table and gnawed at it. Jian Wushuang hesitated and glanced sideways at Kai Jiuxiao's location. Kai Jiuxiao didn't sit here, but built a honeycomb on the cabin, and his body turned into a black mist and stored inside. Apparently, it is a habit of inheritance. Jian Wushuang, why don't you eat it? Emperor Bobby looked at Jian Wushuang with unkind eyes. The people who were still gnawing at the metal also raised their heads to look at Jian Wushuang, their eyes were also bad. Jian Wushuang's heart moved, and he quickly explained, Master Bobby, I have no appetite. He didn't hide it, and said it directly. Those 7 tribulations realm are the dogs of Emperor Barbie, but he is not. After hearing his words, Bobby's eyes were getting colder and colder. Ukanshu. Com looked at each other for several breaths, and finally Bobby Emperor laughed and said, Haha, you are honest and I like it. Thanks for the praise. Jian Wushuang also breathed a sigh of relief. As long as he is not enslaved, everything is easy to do. It's even better if we join hands to deal with extinction. If Barbie Di is willing, now they can kill back to the time and space of the original universe. Directly crush the life to death. Isn't it cool? Jian Wushuang also had some expectations. But then Bobby Emperor's words poured cold water on him. Jian Wushuang, I am very optimistic about you. You are different from their waste. In the future, you will be able to grasp the existence of time and space reincarnation, practice hard, and catch up with the pace of extinction as soon as possible. Then I will help you to devour extinction. As soon as Emperor Bobby said this, Jian Wushuang was a bit lonely. Chapter 57:21. But the soul of the Emperor, Shixian and others, but they leaked enviable gazes. Although these people are enslaved, they also have their own will. It's just that this will is completely controlled by Emperor Barbie. Let them go east, they won't go west. The reason why Jian Wushuang couldn't get excited was because he had caught up with the pace of extinction, and Emperor Bobby needed to help him. It is not better to solve it by yourself. What if Bobby Emperor slaps him again? Jian Wushuang sighed in his heart, but there was a hint of joy on his face. He stood up and held a fist respectfully to Emperor Bobby, which was regarded as a thank you. Then took a seat. He is very curious now, where Bobby Di will take them. The Eternal Kingdom has been destroyed, and when he left, he saw that Barbie Di even cut away the space. This is to hide yourself completely. Fortunately, Barbie Di didn't intend to conceal them, but said his next plan. Reignite the method of road repair. This is also what the Emperor Sol Tian and Shixian and others look forward to most. According to Barbie Di's plan, they will go to a dangerous place and wait for a while to go to a special place to find a treasure. As long as he gets that treasure, Emperor Bobby will be able to create a way to rekindle the path of cultivation. Now I still need some layout. Some of you need to go back to their respective sects and conceal my affairs. I will explain the details to you. Bobby Emperor began to arrange the tasks of everyone. Jian Wushuang was nothing, just listening curiously. The 7 Tribulations realm of Gumu School Jiangliang as well as some other ancestors of the 7-star sect, all returned to their own forces and continued to practice normally. If there is a need, Barbie Di will notify them. These people have been enslaved, and they are not afraid of rebellion. Although they left. But every move is under the supervision of Barbie Di, and there is no possibility of escape at all. Okay, it's probably this arrangement, everything can be done according to my orders. Emperor Barbie had a serious expression, and he was more concerned about the method of reigniting the road of cultivation than those of the dispersing tribulation realm. After everyone heard it, they took their orders. Yes, never disappoint the adults' expectations. Barbie Di took out a stack of tokens and distributed them to everyone at will. There are also numbers above. From 1 to 10. The Soul Heaven Emperor's hand is the number 1 token, and Shixian is the number 2. The Jiangliang of the Gumu school is number 3. It seems that they are ranked according to their strength. It's just that the token looks nothing special. Jian Wushuang didn't hold it in his hand, so he was a little curious. Barbie Di explained at this time, you are mine with this token. This time the plan needs to conceal your identity, but in the future, you can definitely tell outsiders that you are my people, or godsons. Okay. Yes, Godfather. The Soul Tiendi became smart this time, and he called the first one to speak. It is simply to recognize the thief as the father. The others also opened their mouths and shouted. Jian Wushuang stared at Shixian. This guy's father is still alive. Okay, you can set off. If you don't have the orders, you can find the secret room to practice here at will. Barbie Di was also full at this time, and slowly got up from his chair. Jian Wushuang glanced around. Some people left, some people also got up and went into the secret room to practice. It seems all this is normal. But just now, they beat you to death. Things are impermanent. Barbie Di also left the cabin, and when he entered his own core cabin, he turned to look at Jian Wushuang, and said, Jian Wushuang, if you have any treasures you need, you can find me at any time. After speaking, he left. Dylan also followed into the core cabin. Jian Wushuang himself was left in the cabin. When I looked up and saw Kai Juxiao's hive, I realized that this fellow was there. He didn't rush to practice in the secret room, but came to the edge of the cabin and looked at the outside world. Before the huge French windows, everything is transparent, and he can see the outside scenery. It is a miniature universe. Represents a master of the universe. Although I don't know where the flying boat is going. But he himself knew that he should also head towards the Lord of the Universe. Leaving the Temple of Chishan in just 10,000 years. He is an emperor who has already participated in the battle at the 8 Tribulations realm level. Although just a bystander, he doesn't need any effort. But also a little reluctant. He needs constant strength to be able to gain a firm foothold in GUU time and space. His thoughts rose. Jian Wushuang's eyes were firm. He sat cross-legged in front of the French window, and slowly closed his eyes. The subject's will has also returned to the deity. Yu State, Wu Mansion. The matter of the Eternal Kingdom passed only 3 days, and the entire Gumu continent, and even GUU time and space, spread. The soul of the emperor sacrificed blood to the common people, and the major forces went to encircle and suppress the dead and wounded. Shixian of the Shi family has fallen. In the 9 great 7 tribulations, only 4 came back alive. For a time, this matter swept all over the place. From the tribulation realm to the emperor, they are all talking about it. After the blood twilight of the Eternal Kingdom fell, many people went to check it out. On this day, Elder Mu Chen came to Wu Mansion and insisted on pulling Jian Wushuang and Wu Li to join in the fun. There is no way, whoever makes the other party's status high, the two of them can only go together. For some reason, Jian Wushuang found that Wu Li didn't seem to care about this matter. According to common sense, such a big battle broke out. No matter who it is, it should be shocked and curious. The 3 set out together and arrived in the Eternal Kingdom in 1 day. Jian Wushuang pretended to be curious and looked around. There is no choice but to socialize. He just left with Barbie Di a few days ago. Too familiar with everything here. As for the war, with the inside story, he knows better than anyone else. There is really no curiosity at all. In less than half a day, he began to persuade Elder Mu Chen to leave with him. There is really nothing good to see. The space and land here are gone. There is only one huge black hole left. There is not even a trace of breath. It is not a battle relic, has nothing to study at all. Finally, under the persuasion of him and Wu Li, the 3 turned around and left. When they left, a group of people came on the other side of the black hole. They are people from Vietnam. They are very close to the Eternal Country, but they are much faster than our people from the Stone Country. A young man in the group said methodically. A group of 7 people, 4 old men, and 3 young men. When hearing about Yu State, one of the young people said, "People of Yu State, Tusk, I heard that Shiju suffered a lot in Yu State a few days ago and was beaten to sleep by an emperor. Being able to defeat Shiju, it seems that the opponent's divine power has surpassed 180,000, and his hands are really itchy." The 2 young emperors were talking about each other. It's just that the woman in red standing in front of them is very indifferent. Chapter 57:22. I have been watching the tide of the black hole, the abyss already below. A battle at the tribulation level. She is curious. Especially the 7 tribulations realm. The 2 young emperors behind him were always talking about Yu Guo. By the way, the emperor who defeated Shiju is the heavenly arrogant of that family. It's so close to Yu State, why don't we go and play? I heard that it is the nephew of the ancestor of the Wu family. What is it called? The young emperor scratched his head, and then thought of something, said, "By the way, his name is Jian Wushuang." Jian Wushuang. When she heard this name, the red-dressed woman's expression changed. She blurted out unknowingly, and turned her head to look at the two of them. Seeing the expression of the woman in the big red dress, both of them were shocked. The two of them are Hou, the guardian deity of Shigua, and Tianjiao, the emperor of Shigua. But compared with the woman in red, their status is far worse. The woman in red is the strongest among Shiguodijun Tianjia recently. It is also the Hou with the most stored blood among the flame Hou. The status surpasses the general lord of the universe, and is the Hou that the flame cares most about. This time he came out, and even arranged 4-5 Tribulations realm powerhouses for protection. Hu Yi of the other two flame gods, although jealous, they are not as good as the woman in red in terms of status and power. Fan Tianfeng. In other words, it is Fan Feng. When she heard Jian Wushuang, she was not surprised, some were just excited. She is now much stronger than before, and she has long wanted to find someone to show off. She even thought that she had surpassed the once Emperor Jueyun. Jian Wushuang, Fan Feng said silently in his heart. Also learned from the second population of Jian Wushuang's recent 10,000 years. He is the nephew of the ancestors of the Wu family, and he is also the son of the Yu kingdom in the future. Thanks Tusk, we are all moving forward. You are good. Just a few days after coming here, I thought about being a door-to-door son-in-law. Fan Feng thought disdainfully. The two young emperors behind him didn't know what the eldest lady was thinking, and stopped talking for a while. Fan Tianfeng had an idea at the bottom of his heart, and said, Go back to Shigua, go to the royal family to see what kind of waste was lost to a kid from the Yu country and even shot by someone. They can lose this face, but we can't. Throw it together. This. Both of them hesitated. What does the shame of the Stone Kings have to do with them? They didn't know that Fan Feng was about to take Jian Wushuang's knife. And there is already a plan. Jian Wushuang, who is especially good at calculating, can't imagine that he will be calculated by his own people. At this time, Jian Wushuang returned to Wu Mansion, and finally sent Elder Mu Chen away, then hurriedly returned to his room and began to practice. There are many treasures on his body now. Especially the original treasures. Wu Li helped him to exchange a lot, and now it happened to be able to improve his strength again before the holy meeting came. Since fighting Shiju, he felt that he couldn't underestimate the emperor of Guu time and space. Maybe, those emperors who don't appear to be leaking on the surface have a big killer. Just like Sang Biao and Ni Kuan. The sudden outbreak is the most terrible. He doesn't want to lose to the same rank. To be honest, after he broke through to become the emperor, he has not practiced in retreat. At the emperor level, he has the least improved strength. Of course, it's the head of He Dao, and it doesn't count when it comes to He Dao. Dao Jun is the one who has improved the most strength. In the emperor cannot fall. Wow. Under the enchantment cloth, the time flow rate was adjusted to 100,000 times. 1 year outside, here is 100,000 years. There are still more than 2 years before the wedding. He plans to leave the customs 1 month in advance, and all the remaining time is spent on cultivation. More than 200,000 years is enough for him to digest the treasures he has recently obtained. The original treasure is worth hundreds of millions of square meters. Not to mention being in the Temple of Chishan, even in Guu time and space, a strong man who can take out so many treasures at one time is at least in the 3 Tribulations realm. The poorer 3 Tribulations realm might not be able to be taken out. After all, the strength of the same rank is also very different. Jie Jing is not an emperor. The dispersal of the Third Order realm, and the master of the universe in the Third Order realm, can be said to be one world and one earth. The heart of time and space. Jian Wushuang opened a jade box, somewhat curious. According to the introduction above, this green round stone is worth 70 million cubic meters of cosmic crystals. 1/5 of all treasures are standing. This treasure is not simple. Contains the true meaning of time and space. Now he just fumbled for the true meaning of time. Still know nothing about time and space. The space is simple. Time is tedious. Now he didn't even understand the time. How could he understand the power of time and space? It's just a fuzzy feeling. For example, knowing time and space can travel between the future and the past. The only swallow. Jian Wu's hands pressed hard, and the power of time and space heart entered his original starry sky along the palm of his hand. 6,000 black holes are running at the same time, and the power that bursts out is comparable to that of the Lord of the Universe. Although he has not come into contact with many masters of the universe. But in the conversation with Wu Li, he also learned the source of divine power. Space is very weak, time is even more ordinary. A lot of cultivation time in the 7 tribulations realm was not as good as the master of the 5 tribulations universe in Maruo time and space. After all, they just use time and space to assist. Not caring. 1,000 black holes can condense the universe and become the master of the universe. When Jian Wushuang saw those universes, he said it was a miniature universe. It is too small, and the universe is not as big as his thoughts. Not to mention, his origin is starry sky. Just 6,000 black holes lit up can be comparable to the Lord of the Universe in the 4 tribulations realm. In the ancient moon time and space, 10,000 black holes represented the pinnacle of the Lord of the 4 tribulations realm universe. Of course, this can only mean that the Lord of the Universe in GUU time and space is much weaker in space. But supernatural power can make up for this shortcoming. Plus the integrity of the method. GUU time and space's tribulation realm powerhouse is generally stronger than Maruo time and space. However, there is one thing that makes GUU time and space's tribulation realm envy. That is the step realm powerhouse of Maruo time and space, who walks in time and space. The time to cross the robbery will be very long. The catastrophe of the strong in GUU time and space is coming sooner. A strong person who is the best in time and space has a more precise grasp of time and can be delayed. Has more than 3 times the time of the strong person of the divine power line. This is why the original Maruo spacetime was basically the master of the universe. There are very few scattered robberies. This also caused many tribulation realm powerhouses to abandon the scattering tribulation, and even if they fight to the end, they do not want to become scattered tribulation. This is how the gods are. It is also possible that it was because of the encounter with the death that he did not want to become a robbery, and cooperated with the death. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang's aligning approach was also relieved. Those 7 tribulations realm in GUU time and space were willing to have enough seats. Compared with Chishan is more structured. Chapter 57-23. Just cooperate with Daixing. In order to rekindle the road. These scattered robbers are all fighting. There is no right or wrong. Jian Wushuang sighed and continued to practice. Swallowing the heart of time and space, he once again lit up thousands of black holes. 7,000 black holes have been lit up in the original star sky. Then it is slowly digested. Don't be too anxious, after all, it is the power that is swallowed. Need to be stable. After 10,000 years, Jian Wushuang stabilized the original starry sky and swallowed it again. It lasted for 100,000 years before he swallowed all the original treasures and firmly linked all the black holes together. The strongest universe in the starry sky is about to be born. Jian Wushuang's original clone, standing above his own universe, was very satisfied. There are a total of 9,000 black holes. And the secret realm of the universe has risen to 9. When there are 6,000 black holes, he has only 1 cosmic secret realm. Now that 3,000 black holes have been lit up again, 8 cosmic mysteries have been refined. The deeper the background, the faster you can cultivate. Jian Wushuang was very excited. The 9 cosmic secret realms, if they were practitioners of GUU time and space, would already be comparable to the 9 cosmos. Next, its supernatural power. Jian Wushuang took out Dongjun's bones, his aura suddenly skyrocketed. Barbie Di increased his divine power, and it still maintains it now. He just used this power to speed him up to devour Dongjun's bones. The divine power of increase, but the divine power of real deal. It's not like the beast warrior, it's just imaginary. Jian Wushuang exerted his strength one by one, directly reaching the divine power of 200,000. The clone is slowly conducting. This is the power of Barbie Di. He can't maintain the deity for too long, otherwise he will be discovered. But only a stick of incense time is enough. Now it has a basic divine power of 200,000, so use 4 times the power of the beast god. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists and let out a low growl. Divine power suddenly exploded. Double the power of the beast god, directly increase 80,000. 2 times is 160,000. 3 times 240,000. 4 times 300,000. Jian Wushuang held his breath, his divine power reached its peak. With the basic divine power, it is already 500,000. If Bobby Emperor's increase is reduced, his basic divine power is still only 100,000. 100,000 basic divine power cannot maintain 4 times the power of the beast god. The divine power of 500,000 times is now comparable to the 5 tribulations realm. Although most of it is not his real combat power. But Jian Wushuang was already very excited to be able to burst out. It was a feeling of the combat power of the 5 tribulations realm in advance. If it was only 100,000 times the basic divine power, his peak might be just over 200,000. But if the basic divine power is increased to 200,000 times, it will be able to burst out 500,000 times the divine power. Dongjun bones. Jian Wushuang stretched out his hand and stroked it lightly. A chill came, piercing his mind. The divine body that was tens of thousands of times in the first place could increase its divine power by tens of thousands of times just by absorbing the breath he radiated. A glance will cause serious injuries. Nowadays, 500,000 times the divine power can be touched at close range. Jian Wushuang put one hand on the bone, and the other hand grasped the arm placed on the bone. The swallowing power ran wildly. The 9 universes with infinite power burst out to the extreme. Now what he has absorbed is the divine power on the bones. Powerful. He already had 500,000 times his magical power, but he was still a little struggling. The golden aura exuding from the golden bones continuously gathered into Jian Wushuang's palm, and then spread to the divine body. Jian Wushuang's divine body also began to increase crazily. The basic divine power has risen directly from 100,000 times to 150,000. Too strong. Jian Wushuang was not excited, but frowned. No wonder the real spirit will set a ban, so that he will devour it when he robs the realm. The burden of devouring him is too great now. A slight instability can crush his divine body. You must know that his current divine body has increased by 500,000 times. Reached the threshold of the 5 tribulations realm. The weak points of the sabotage have 500,000 supernatural powers, and the strong ones can reach 600,000. The Lord of the Universe will forget it, even if he is not in his dojo, he may be able to explode more than 700,000 divine powers. If you are in your own dojo, your divine power can break 1 million. This is the horror of the Lord of the Universe. However, after he became the Lord of the Universe, he was even more against the sky than this. There are now 9,000 black holes in his universe. Calculated on the basis of 10,000 seats, his own dojo blessings at that time will probably be 10 times stronger than the Lord of the Universe in GUU time and space. This 10 times is an increase of 10 times. Converted into combat power, it is 10,000 times. 10,000 times more than the same order. It can be several orders directly. Moreover, he has the bones of Dongjun, and his divine power will not fall. At that time, it will be double happiness. Break the law with one force. He doesn't believe that other people can do it. Now he has some confidence in himself. He was really going to succeed, he had too much power at that time. The power of life can certainly be useful for a long time, mainly assisted. I won't talk about swallowing. Now it's only used for cultivation. Everything and the starry sky are his strongest 2 powers. The power of all things brought his origin to the limit. The power of the starry sky represents the strongest starry sky. The power of blue is extremely terrifying. If it is divine power, it can also reach the top. At that time, he will have time and space reincarnation plus infinite divine power. Shuttle through the past and the future, and master the cycle of reincarnation. Divine power breaks all obstacles. Jian Wushuang couldn't help but swallowed. How powerful it would be. What? Holding both fists, suddenly burst into air. The divine power transformed by the golden arrogance began to climb. The basic divine power jumped to 150,000 times. According to his speculation, just swallowing all the aura wrapped in the golden bones can reach 200,000 times the divine power. But now he can't do it yet. Because of the increase given to him by Barbie Di, there has been an unsuccessful performance. If you continue to practice like this, Barbie Di will definitely doubt it. Time to stop. The remaining breath can only be swallowed a little bit. Cool. His divine power instantly dropped from 500,000 times. The power of the beast is not exploding either. Only 150,000 times the basic supernatural power remained. This time it has increased 50,000 times. The slower the increase in the later stage. Just absorbed 10% of the golden arrogance. There is still 90% left without absorption. 10% increased the power of 50,000 times. The remaining 90% can be increased by another 50,000 times. But after reaching 200,000, these arrogance may not be increased by 10,000 times. He is in the Emperor, the limit is in this state. After he can no longer use the power of Barbie Di, his basic divine power plus the increase of the power of the beast can probably increase to about 380,000 divine power. 100,000 years is enough to swallow all the remaining arrogance. At that time, his basic divine power will be 200,000 times. Belongs to the real limit. Chapter 5724, 5,700 chapters. Just sinking, the battleship has disappeared in the sky. However, the traces left above will not disappear, and Jian Wushuang is not in a hurry. It didn't take long for a terrifying aura to fly overhead. It's the Black Robe Powerhouse. 3 Tribulation Realm Powerhouse. Not the Lord of the Universe, nor is he of the Eternal Family. I am afraid it is a dead man raised by an eternal family. This kind of thing still needs a clean person to do it. Just as the black-robed old man caught up, Jian Wushuang followed. The planning has only just begun. Since Jian Wushuang is going to enter the game, he has to be patient. Don't take action until the critical moment. The distance between the black-robed old man and the battleship was getting closer and closer, and the two people inside the battleship also discovered something was wrong at this time, and felt a terrifying aura. When you want to avoid it, it's too late. A huge black column of air soared into the sky, directly piercing the battleship. Who is it? The two flew out at the same time, all in a state of embarrassment. When they saw the black-robed old man, their eyelids jumped wildly. The powerhouse of the 3 Tribulations realm. Although it is not the master of the universe, it is just a robbery, but it is not something the two of them can deal with after all. It's just an emperor. The powerhouse of the 3 Tribulations realm has 200,000 divine powers. Senior, why did you sneak up on us? Sang Biao didn't want to give up at this time, he wanted to delay time. On the other hand, the voice transmission was sent to the family, but asking for help now is the same as asking for death. The family and the eternal family have given up on them. Abandoned son, can't live. It's enough for you to die with peace of mind. The black-robed old man didn't talk nonsense, and directly killed him. 200,000 divine powers exploded, directly killing Sangbiao and Nichken. Go. Nichken shouted angrily, and the power of death on his body rose again. But in the face of a strong man in the 3 Tribulations realm, they would go there. The black-robed powerhouse shook it with one hand, and a huge wave of air was thrown from the palm of his hand, as dazzling as the sun, directly swallowing the two of them. This wave of air contains 200,000 divine power. How could two emperors be able to block it? I'm not reconcile. Nichken rebelled wildly, but it didn't work. Sangbiao began to beg for mercy and told everything about baby Di. The black-robed powerhouse was unmoved, and tried to kill the two of them directly. At the critical time, a black fog suddenly rose. Jian Wushuang, who was full of black arrogance, attacked from behind, and the breath had been transformed into the power of death. This power of death is not pure, it is extracted from the power of all things, covered in the power of the starry sky, ordinary. People can't see it. This is to coax Nichken to prepare with Sangbiao. This seat, on the order of Lord Baby Di, come to rescue the two of you. Jian Wushuang even changed his voice. As soon as he fished it, he opened the space and rescued the two people in the airwave. The two, who were already in despair, dared to think too much after being rescued, and nodded frantically. At this time, Jian Wushuang asked them to go, and they did not have any objection. The black-robed powerhouse frowned slightly when he saw Jian Wushuang. He is just a dead man of the Eternal Kingdom, and he may not know as much as Shou Biao and others. He didn't understand Jian Wushuang's words at all. Thank you, Senior, for saving your life. After Nichken's breath recovered, he hurriedly bowed to thank him. Especially when I heard that Jian Wushuang was under the order of Lord Barbady, I felt even more grateful. You all go to the Lord Barbady first, and this person will be handed over to me. Jian Wushuang's face was cold, and he told the two of them directly in the tone of an order. Song Biao and Nichken were stunned for a moment, then turned around and ran away. The black-robed powerhouse wanted to stop it, but was blocked by Jian Wushuang. This fellow Daoist, why do you take action against the two little guys? Why don't you just play with me? Jian Wushuang moved his wrist. The black-robed powerhouse had a calm expression on his face. He first notified the Eternal Clan through a sound transmission, and then he said, "You shouldn't stop me. The city of the city," he said. "How about changing to a place where no one else is?" "No need." The strong man in black robe clenched his fists violently, the breath on his body increased again, and his arms spread out, and the nearby hundreds of millions of miles instantly turned into coke. The next moment, quietly shot, went straight to Jian Wushuang. The divine power of 200,000 erupted with all its strength. Killing is to pay for your life. Jian Wushuang took a stance, and when the black-robed powerhouse rushed, the surrounding space was instantly shattered, and his figure disappeared in place. But the black-robed old man is very experienced. The moment he disappeared, his breath had been captured, and he had reached the position where Jian Wushuang had settled in advance, and hit Jian Wushuang's junior directly with a palm. The set of eternal treasure inner armor on his body shattered directly. The treasures he carries are eternal treasures, but to fight against the powerhouse of the robbery level, the eternal treasure is simply not enough to see. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang is a super powerhouse purely relying on strength. After suffering a dull loss, he realized that if he wanted to drag the opponent, he still needed to use some strength. The key to this battle is not only to stop the opponent, but also to make a big enough move. Let the ancient wood sect people notice. Those people now should be in the Eternal Kingdom. As long as a strong enough breath bursts out, it can attract the attention of the other party. Although the comprehensive strength of the Eternal Kingdom is very strong, but the strong are also limited. For example, a fight at the level of the Four Tribulations is enough to stir up the entire Eternal Kingdom. The superpowers of the Five Tribulations realm are rarely shot in the ancient wood continent. Usually, it is only when they go out to the outer domain to make a move. Otherwise, Gumu continent would have been shattered long ago. These top powerhouses, SonicMTL.com also has a tacit understanding that if you can't do it in the ancient wood continent, you won't do it in the ancient wood continent. Therefore, the top powerhouses of the Five Tribulations realm generally do not take action on the ancient wood continent. 9 days and 10 places, there are already some lessons learned. Those continents destroyed by the power of death are vigilant. Destroying another continent would be a huge burden on the ancient moon spacetime. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists with both hands, his eyebrows flickered, and he shouted angrily, Song Biao and Nichken had already left, and he had nothing to hide. Directly burst out the power of the starry sky. Although it is a clone, but now his combat power can also approach the peak of the Three Tribulations realm. And he is the Lord of the Universe. It is not that these wastes of the Sanctuary realm can be compared. The power of the starry sky burst out, and a gust of wind blew, and the black-robed old man was a little unsteady. He stared at Jian Wushuang in astonishment, and was even more curious in his heart. When did such a strong man appear in the Eternal Kingdom? He had never heard of it. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.